FM.
102.2 Auckland.
Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Game Junkie, Gerard Campbell.
Brilliant! You made it through. Well done. Okay, follow me. We've still got work to do. At least you can't touch us back here. Okay. Don't move. Okay, alright, so I've got an idea, but it is bloody dangerous. Here we go. Ah! Oh, for God's... They told me that if I ever turn this flashlight on, I would die. They told me that about everything. I don't even know why they bothered giving me this stuff if they didn't want me to use it. It's pointless.
What a bizarre beginning. Well, that is the trailer to Portal 2. And Gerard Campbell, Mr. Game Junkie at stuff.co.nz, has been giving it a good old bash, letting us know what it's like. G'day there, Gerard.
G'day there, Wammo. How are you?
Very good. Now, this trailer and the gameplay is not at all what I expected.
No, well, it's quite amazing because, Valve have the company behind great games like Half-Life and Half-Life 2. When the original Portal came out, it came with the Orange Box compilation a few years back, and it was almost like a, thanks for buying this, here's this game called Portal, and it was a small game, and essentially what it was you had, a gun that fired an entry portal and an exit portal, and you had to solve puzzles using that, and
right.
It was fantastic. It was a fantastic game, and it was a game of the year. So now they've really upped the ante with Portal 2, and with that introductory sequence, it's set a few years later from the Aperture Science Enrichment Test Facility. And essentially what it is that the gameplay's basically still the same. You've still got the gun which fires entry portals and exit portals, but of course you're having to do things like create portals behind objects so you can drop other objects onto buttons which will open doors. You've got to avoid turrets that talk and sing, and the trailer, as we saw, that's the voice of Stephen Merchant.
Yes, I thought I'd recognise that.
Yeah, co-creator of The Office and all those sorts of things, who's doing the voice of the Computer Weekly, who I guess is sort of a foil to the original games, GLaDOS, which was sort of the evil megalomaniacal computer who sort of ran the Aperture Science Centre, and if those that have played the original Portal will know how that ended. But yeah, it's a...
Now, I know this. This game has massive fans worldwide.
Yes.
They're just, people are just really into this. But is the basic premise that you end up in a room, you've got your entry portal, and then you fire off onto a wall somewhere to create your exit portal. But there's only certain places you can create the exit portal, and then you've got to get to it.
Yes, there is. There is only certain places, there's only certain walls that you can put your portals onto. But
right.
Often you'll find you'll come into a room, and you are the only test subject in the entire facility, so you come across no other people. But you'll come into a room and you'll see that, 200 feet up in the air is where the exit is, the exit door that you have to go through. So you've often got to systematically work yourself through propelling yourself through portals to get to higher levels. And in some levels you'll have a wall which you can put an exit portal right over at one end, and then you'll have to drop from a balcony right down to the bottom floor, which will then, of course, propel you out the exit one onto the entrance point. So
these kinds of things frustrate the hell out of me.
What I found with Portal 2, that I didn't think that the puzzles this time around were perhaps as frustrating as the original Portal. A lot of them you have to actually sit back and just think about things, and the Portal 2 now brings a new element into the latter parts, as it brings a whole lot of gels into it which you can use. Like there's a gel which will spray, which will let you create more portals in different surfaces. There are gels which let you bounce, and then there's gels which let you sort of run at super speed. So that sort of brings different plays in terms of, but yeah, they can be quite frustrating because you sort of look at a puzzle and think, how am I going to get to that point? But if you sort of laterally think and remember that, if you drop from a great height into an entrance one, you can propel yourself out of an exit portal to another location. Sometimes you might have to do that a couple of times. You might have to run, jump, and then bounce and propel and bounce. So yeah, it does get quite frustrating at times.
Do you attack it by deciding where to go next, or do you look at where your exit is and then trace your way back?
Personally, I think I sort of tend to see where your exit is, and then you think, and then I sort of tend to trace back from the exit where there could be other points that you could sort of come from or drop things onto or whatever.
Was there any point you wanted to smash the television?
No, there hasn't been yet, but there have been times that I've just sat there and thought, this puzzle's taking an incredibly long time to solve, you know, and then suddenly you'll leave it and you'll come back after half an hour or the next day or whatever and suddenly think, you know, if I just put a portal here and then use this to bounce me up to here, you can do it. I mean, I'm finding that it started off, well, it's sort of dragging in the middle section, but it's sort of starting to get back to we're sort of back to Wheatley at the moment. So.
Is this game the thinking person's crumpet?
Thinking person's crumpet, wow. It certainly is. I mean, it's a first-person shooter without shooting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or a first-person puzzler.
But it sounds like you really need to use your noggin.
You do. You know, it's not just simple, straightforward, walk into a room, all these entrance. I mean, the early puzzles are pretty easy. But as it progresses, you're going to have to laterally think on how you're going to get from this point to a high point. And for those that have played other games like Half-Life and Half-Life 2, you'll see that there are sort of some Easter eggs dotted about that sort of hark back to those classic games as well. But no, I mean, it's an entertaining game for those people that like to think about, you know, how to solve puzzles rather than just enter a room and all guns blazing sort of thing.
Cool. Well, it's out on many platforms: PC, Xbox, PlayStation.
3. Yes. Oh, and also, of course, I haven't looked at, but there is a co-op mode as well, which means you can cooperatively play with other players to solve the puzzles, which will add new dimension to things as well.
Okay, and probably new ways of solving it. I mean,
yes, yeah, and new frustrations too, probably.
Sounds very good. And what platform are you playing on?
I'm playing on Xbox 360.
Yeah, because you can't play on PlayStation.
You can't play on PlayStation. Well, you certainly can't play the co-op on PlayStation at the moment.
Excellent. Well, people can find out more at the blog at in the technology section at stuff.co.nz. It's Gerard Campbell, Game Junkie there, and Game Junkie NZ on Twitter.
Indeed.
Thanks, Gerard.
Thank you, Wammo.